A change of scenery for this week's video, especially next week as well. We're going to be inside the office chair and seeing what's going on with the certain positions of the chair which people use day to day. A big important one today is the car. So what actually goes on while you're sat in the car. Something I've noticed recently for myself was the position of my seat, and it wasn't causing me major problems or issues, but I just felt as if I was lopsided a lot, and actually looking at the seat it was. So my major tips for how you set your car seat up, especially if you're struggling with back pain, the main thing is that everyone promotes is that you just sit with your hips pushed back into the seat and the seat upright, so you sit like that. The only problem is with that is it tilts the pelvis forwards as you sit back in there. So if you can imagine, the bottom of your spine is just now wrenched and bent at the bottom. So instead of having a neutral spine, if you like, as soon as you tilt the hips at the bottom, your spine just goes and bends at the bottom. So imagine being sat like that if you're driving somewhere for an hour, and that's going to be quite uncomfortable, especially when you get out and go straight to the gym. So if you've got a long drive to the gym, for instance, and your hips have been sat in a certain position which is uncomfortable for a while, and you go straight to do an exercise, and that's where injuries, etc. happen. Anyway, top tips for positioning your seat. So the way I've set mine up is, obviously you have all that with the pedals, etc. I just like mine a little bit further back and a little bit of a lean and a tilt backwards as well. All this allows me to do is to use my scaps, my shoulder blades, to sit down as I'm holding the wheel. I don't want to be crouched forward and wrenched over at the same time, because as you can imagine, a lot of people spend a lot of time throughout the day like this. So I'd recommend just having a little bit of tilt forward, and depending on how new your car is and all the gadgets that inside it, you can actually lower, higher, recline and decline the seat position as well. So an ideal seat position, instead of having 90 degrees, would be, for me, slightly tilted and at the top just leaning back slightly, so you've got access to move around through your shoulders, and also the bottom of your hips aren't stuck in an anterior tilt. Also as well, a couple of things to do as you're driving is obviously pay 100% attention to the road. Try some breathing exercise, so breathing through your nose. I did a little video on how to breathe through your nose and your stomach and the way we should breathe. Little things that you can use in the car, because if you sat still for more than half an hour, things can get a bit boring, and it's an ideal time to practice. So, top tips. Tilt the seat backwards slightly. If this is just uncomfortable for you, then adjust it, but I want to try and get people avoiding having that there. So the hips are shoved right in the bottom and the shoulder blades are forced down, and there's not a lot of movement for the shoulders. Nice and relaxed, hips relaxed, and just able to move the shoulders through there.